In this lesson, we will be looking at Google Drive. What is Google Drive? It is a cloud storage service, a file storage and synchronization service developed by Google and launched in 2012. Drive allows users to store files on Google servers, synchronize files across devices, and share files. Google Drive encompasses Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides, which are part of an Office suite that permits collaborative editing of documents, spreadsheets, presentations, drawings, forms, and more. Files created and edited through the Office suite are saved in Google Drive. A feature of Google Drive is sharing. Google Drive incorporates a system of file sharing in which the creator of a file or folder is, by default, its owner. The owner can regulate the public visibility of the file or folder. Ownership is transferable. Files or folders can be shared privately with particular users. Sharing files with users not having a Google account requires making them accessible to anybody with the link. This generates a secret URL for the file, which may be shared via email. Files and folders can also be made public on the web, which means that they can be indexed by search engines and thus can be found and accessed by anyone. The owner may also set an access level for regulating permissions. The 3 access levels offered are can edit, can comment, and can view. Users with editing access can invite others to edit. Files uploaded but not converted to Google Docs, Sheets, or Slides format may be up to 5 terabytes in size. Google is famous for their search, and search is offered in Google Drive. Search results can be narrowed by file type, ownership, visibility, and the Open With app. Users can search for images by describing or naming what is in them. Text and images and PDFs can be extracted using optical character recognition. Google has enabled encryption for data in transit between its data centers, but as of 2015, Drive does not provide client-side encryption. The biggest failings with Google Drive have to do with privacy. Google grants itself, through its terms and conditions, the right to scan the files you store in the cloud for marketing purposes. On top of that, Google Drive doesn't give you really any way to secure files like a password protection. Google Drive is the storage for the Google Suite. Google Drive can store any kind of file, photos, videos, PDFs, Microsoft Office files even. You can also save email attachments sent to you through Gmail directly to Google Drive. Drive lets you preview files from within the browser without having to download them. Previews are available for Microsoft Office, Adobe, and general file types like text files, image files, audio files, and even video files. The Google Drive interface has options on the left margin for My Drive, My Computer, Shared with Me, Recent, Google Photos, Starred, Trash, and Backups. However, this can be different based on settings or being an education account. Google Drive's My Drive tab is the central hub of Google Drive. It contains the main repository for files you upload to the Google Cloud. It works like a folder, capable of containing both files and subfolders. These subfolders and files appear in the central pane of the browser interface if you've clicked on the My Drive tab. Double-clicking on any subfolder in that central pane lets you drill down, opening them up, into it to access files and additional subfolders contained within. If you know the specific name of a folder or file you're looking for, you can also use the search bar near the top to find it more quickly. We are looking at my Google Drive right now. If you go over to the left side, we have that colored plus sign and new, similar to how Gmail had the plus sign and compose. If we click this new button, you're going to see you can create new things. We can create a new folder if you're wanting to help organize or keep your drive organized. You can choose a file upload or a folder upload if you're on a computer and have something to move onto Google Drive. Of course, you could always just click and drag that file onto Google Drive, and it should understand that you're copying something over, and it will upload it without needing to do this process. If you click here, you're going to create a new Google Doc. That is the word processing, where you could make letters or flyers, essays, or other text-based files. It is similar to Microsoft Word. You can go to the arrow to choose to have a blank document, or if you're looking for a specific template to use. Google Sheets is for spreadsheets for storing and organizing information, similar to Microsoft Excel workbooks. Once again, you can choose to have a blank spreadsheet, or if you're looking for a specific template to use, you can go and select from there. We have Google Slides, which is for presentations to create slideshows similar to Microsoft PowerPoint. There are more options, such as Google Forms, which we will get to later this year. That is for collecting and organizing data. Once again, you can have it be a blank form that you customize, or you could work from a template. There's Google Drawings for creating simple vector graphics or diagrams, as well as Google Sites. That is another Google Suite application that we will get to at the end of this year for making websites. If you're wanting to access Google Drive and you're on a Google page, you can always go to the 9 dots for the Google Apps menu and find Drive there. Otherwise, you could type in drive.google.com into the URL search bar up at the very top of the screen. So now we're going to look at the Google Drive interface. So up here, we have the search bar, which is just like in Gmail, that if you are looking for something, you can type it in and Google Drive will do its best to find and pull up what you are looking for. Off on the left side, we already have new, and we've talked about that. You then have folders below. So related files can be organized into folders. Once files are placed in a folder, you can view, share, and apply changes to multiple files at the same time. When you select a folder in the left pane, only files contained within that folder will appear. So right now, my drive is selected, and so that's what I see in the central pane. This central pane is also known as the view pane, and it displays all of your files. You can see who owns the file name, when it was last modified, and if it's not a folder, if it's an actual file, say one of these pictures, it will tell you the file size. All of these folders will show up in the left pane if I click this arrow to expand my drive. Here I see all of the folders, and so this gives a structured view of the hierarchy of folders that I have. So I can open up this year, and then I will see the folders within this 2020-21 year. I can then open up the business applications course, and then I see the folders that I've made for our units within this business applications folder, all residing in my drive. I can click the arrow to hide all of that, so I can see, once again, everything else in this left pane. We can click here to see the shared with me files. This is not able to be sorted, so you may want to, when you're looking at a file, choose the option to add it to Drive, and then it will create a link in your My Drive that you can store. Recent files are things that have recently been dealt with. You can see that I've been working on preparing this class. So these files are at the top in the recently edited or viewed. If you think something is important, you can star it. So that will have those files show up. And then if you delete something, it goes and sits in the trash can. If you're wanting it to be completely gone, then you would need to go over here to say empty trash. Being that we are using Google Suite for Education, we see how much storage is being used. If we clicked on it, we could sort by files to be from largest to smallest or some other way to see everything in your drive. If you are not using your Google School account and you get onto Google Drive, there will be a limit on how much storage you can put there. You can always give Google money for more storage. Okay, if we go into a folder, let's go back into this year. You have options along the top, and if you click, that's going to sort by that. So I just reverse sorted the names, and so everything is opposite of alphabetical. If I click names again, we see now it is alphabetical. Special character goes first, followed by numbers before we get to the rest of the folders. After folders, which hang out at the top, then we get into actual files, and they are sorted based off of their name because that's how I told it to be sorted. I can sort by last modified. Do I want it to be sorted by last modified, specifically last modified by me, or sorted by when I last opened them? If you click on the folder, we're now looking at that 2021 folder. I can open with a different app. I could create a new folder within this. I can share this folder. Or if I want, and it's set to sharing, I could get the shareable link so other people could have access to this. I could add a shortcut to Drive. I could move this folder someplace else. If I think this folder is important, I can add a star. I can rename this folder, or I can change the color. So you notice I have one gray folder. These other 4 folders, I've changed their colors. That way I can more easily identify what I'm looking at. I could download this folder to my computer if I need to, or I could remove the folder. If I don't like list view, I can turn it to grid view. If I'm not happy with grid view, where I have the folders separated from the files, if this is taking up too much space, I could click and turn it back to list view. This is choice for you. You work with how you see it working best with you. We also have view details that gives you information about the folder or whatever it is that you're looking at here in the central view pane. I have the details of this folder, the type, location, who owns it, when was it modified, and I can also look at activities. What's happened in this folder? Just like in Gmail, we have the side panel where we can view Google Calendar, we can have Keep for notes, or we can create tasks for ourselves. Up at the top, we see the ready for offline mode, and so this will allow you to see if you don't have internet, what's it going to look like. With offline preview mode turned on, I can see that I could access this Google Doc or this Google Slides. I see these grayed out files. That means I would not be able to actually view it. These are not being stored on my current computer, and so I wouldn't be able to view them until the next time I'm connected to the internet. We can also go into settings to get keyboard shortcuts, or going into settings. Let's say I wanted to look for my syllabus. I could type in syllabus and search, and any file that has the word syllabus, it can pop up. So here we see the second result is our class syllabus. Instead of having to go searching for it through the files, it popped up right here. I could also click this drop down for search options. I could specify what type of file I'm looking for. If I know exactly what I am looking for, I can specify that. I can specify who owns it if I know that. If I have any idea where it is, I could clarify that. Once I've searched for the syllabus, I've found our class syllabus. When I click on it, we see it shows up at the bottom, and it shows me where in fact this syllabus has been stored in Google Drive. If I click on that syllabus file, it shows that it's right here within this 2021 Business Applications folder. With this file selected, there are options. I could get a shareable link for it. I could share it with other people. I can preview it, which if I click that, notice it doesn't load Google Docs. It just pulls up this preview of the syllabus so I can scroll through and see what this file is. If I want, I could remove it. That will send it to the trash can. There are these other options. I could make it offline available if I wanted by clicking this. I could also star it, move it, add a shortcut, rename it, download it, or make a copy. I can always open up this side left pane, and if I wanted to move this, instead of doing that, I can just click and drag, and then it would move wherever I released. You can also right-click, which is a two-finger tap on the Chromebook, on the file, and that once again gives you options that you may want. So there are a lot of ways to approach and to do one thing, because Google's trying to give you the flexibility to figure out what is best for you, how you best work, and catering to that.